So like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people will do Accutane for like 5 to 6 months, but for me, I was on it for 8 months. And when I went to see the doctor for my month 6, he kind of like did a check-in with me and was like, it's all up to you if you want to stop now or just continue. He was just like, he said personally, like, I think it would be more beneficial for you to continue, only because then it's kind of like when you do something for so long, like your body is just like continuing to adapt and get used to that. So it's like he thought that the likelihood of me getting acne would be a lot lower if I stayed on it a little bit longer. And for me, I was like, I felt fine. The process for me was like pretty okay, and I was like, I'm willing to put up with this for 2 more months, or a month to 2 more months, to make sure that my acne doesn't come back. So again, I was on it for 8 months. Not gonna lie, it was a long 8 months, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I am very, very thankful that Accutane worked as well as it did for me. Not everyone is always lucky, but I am very thankful that it worked for my skin, because it was definitely what it needed. Okay, so I'm gonna attach some pictures that I'm actually really proud of. I got 1 month into Accutane and I was already seeing crazy results. At least for me, it was insane, going from before to after 1 month. And for the remainder that I was taking Accutane, it pretty much stayed like that. Like, I almost never got a breakout at all. I think I could probably count on my 2 hands like how many times I broke out for the remainder that I was taking Accutane after the first month. Like, it was insane. And they do mention, like, I feel like a lot of the time you hear this, whenever you start a new product, it does get worse before it gets better, which is completely true. Like, my skin was definitely like, the way that retinol works is it brings everything to the surface. I felt like this kind of did the same thing. It brought everything to the surface, but then once it was brought to the surface and it went away, then it was just like it stayed away. Some common side effects are dry skin, lips, hair, hands. And then for me, this wasn't like a common one that I had read up on, but I noticed that I was definitely starting to have more dryness in other areas of my body. So like vaginal dryness was definitely an issue. My hair was definitely very dry. I think I did mention that, but it's not, again, that wasn't one that I felt like was really common that I saw a lot, but my hair definitely got really dry. So again, like for Accutane, it stops your oil production, which is like, that's all over your body, not just your face. So, and I was doing this through the winter time, so my skin was just extra dry anyways. I was also very much more emotional. If you know me, like, I can kind of be a little bit of a crybaby, but not that much. Like, when I tell you guys, it was crazy. Like, anytime my husband and I would have like the littlest argument, my ass is boo-hooing in the corner, like, what? And now it's just like, we're back to like normal ones where it's just like, all right, like, whatever. So that was definitely different. I was just like, why am I crying? Like, it would be the dumbest thing ever, and I'd just be so upset, and I'd be like, are you okay? Like, what is going on with you? So that was another thing. I was definitely more sensitive to the sun. Being that my skin is hella light, like, I don't always burn. I say like I initially burn during summertime, and then after that it's like I tan pretty good. But with being on Accutane, it was like my skin was so sensitive. Like, I barely spent any time in the sun when my husband and I went to another part of Japan where all the beaches are really pretty and stuff. I might attach some pictures too of that. But when we went, we weren't even out there for like an hour, and I was like bright red by the time we got home. It was crazy. So besides that, I also did experience a lower sex drive. This was definitely one that I did not see a lot of research on at all. This is one that I had to turn to Reddit for, and even when I went to Reddit, it was mostly men who were talking about it, so I found that was interesting. I don't know why that is necessarily, but yeah, for me, it was like I pretty much did not have a desire to have sex, which was really scary for me because it's not normal. And I was a little worried because a lot of people in those Reddit forums were talking about like, oh, it took them years to get back to how they were, and I was like, ugh, like, this is not what I want to happen to me, what? But thankfully, everything is back to normal. Pretty much as soon as I stopped, I was back to how I was before I went on Accutane, so that was nice. And then obviously too, another huge thing is birth defects. So that's kind of why the dermatologists really make a big deal about not getting pregnant while you're taking this, because it's a 20 to 35% chance that you can have a child with birth defects. And there's all kinds of stuff that can happen. I'm not going to attach any pictures, but you guys are more than welcome to go look it up. It's very much a big deal. Like, that's why they tell you have to have 2 forms of birth control to make sure you're doing that. That's why you do the pregnancy test every single checkup every month. It is a big deal to not get pregnant on this. And then even then, after you stop taking Accutane, they want you to wait at least 1 month afterwards, which if it were me, I would wait even longer than that to get pregnant, because you just don't want to risk that. Like, for me, it's like I will wait however long I need to because I want to have a healthy child. So just be cautious of that, and make smart choices, because it could affect you and your baby's life forever. So again, teach their own. But yeah, so those are the main side effects that I experienced. Again, with the dry lips, that was probably the first side effect that I experienced, and probably the worst. It was like my lips were constantly just like chapped. Like, I could put chapstick on, I could put Vaseline on, like anything, and it was just like always just peeling off, breaking off. It was so bad. It was really gross too. My lips would always be like red from me picking at it, because I already don't like chapped lips, and that was like, no matter what I was doing, it was still happening. So I would like pick at it. My husband would get on my ass about this too, because it's like, he'd see me and he could tell, obviously, and he's like, you need to stop doing that. So it was hard for me, because again, I don't like that feeling, so I'd try to like scrub it off and it just make it worse. So the best thing you can do is just leave it alone. Easier said than done. But yeah, so that was one thing. Oh yeah, another weird thing that I noticed too was, like, again, dry skin. My hands started to get like eczema, which I've never had eczema before, and at first I was like, what is this rash? Like, I don't know what's going on. But I went to the doctor, they pretty much just gave me Aquaphor and were like, just put this on. I put it on, that was fine, it went away. And then, even then, now it's like, I don't have anything. Ignore my nails, they're crusty right now, guys. It's very expensive to get your nails done in Japan, so I don't be doing it. But yeah, everything is fine now. My skin's still kind of dry, but nothing a little lotion can't fix. So I'm going to talk about some do's and don'ts. So don'ts: don't pick at your lips like me, don't drink excessively, and don't be in the sun too long. So that's another thing. They talk about not drinking alcohol while you're on Accutane. My dermatologist did mention, like, it's okay to have a drink here and there, just don't black out, don't be taking shots, like nothing hard. Like, wine's okay, like champagne, like lighter alcohols, not like Patron and like Hennessy. Like, don't get crazy, don't be on your do say hot girl shit, like, no. So just be smart. Again, not a doctor, but I will say that I did go out a couple times while I was on this journey, and what I would do, kind of sounds bad now that I'm saying it, but what I would do is I would stop taking the pills a couple days before I'd go out on the weekend, and then I would drink, but I wouldn't black out, and I wouldn't get super drunk. I would just get a little tipsy, have a couple shots, and I was fine. So during one of my checkups too, I think I had, it was maybe during like month 3, maybe like halfway-ish through, I went and got my normal pregnancy test done, and then I had to do like a blood test, and I guess they were testing like my lipids and something to do with my liver, basically making sure my liver was okay. And when I went, everything was, well, he said this is perfectly fine, everything looks good, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was after like I had gone out a couple times. So I would say it's not too big of a deal. Just be careful. Again, do your own research. Whatever your doctor says, listen to them, because they know. But for me, my liver was perfectly fine. Now we're gonna get to the do's. Do moisturize, have protected sex, have an occasional drink, and If you want to stop taking the pills a couple days before, you can. Again, I don't really know if that makes a difference. Another thing, guys, you definitely have to take depression seriously when it comes to this drug, because it can cause you to be depressed and even have suicidal thoughts. And obviously, like, clear skin is nice to have, but it is never worth your life. And I just want to take the time to say, like, you know your limits, and you know whether or not you're good enough to take this drug. For me, I did mention that I was depressed before I knew it was caused by my acne and how I was feeling and my insecurities. So I knew that if this drug could help me get rid of that I was willing to take that risk. Now, I also know that if I got to the point where it was like I wanted to harm myself or harm somebody else, that I would know to stop it. It's never worth it. And regardless, I want you guys to know that you're loved, valued, appreciated, and what is on the outside, it sounds cliche, but what's on the outside doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people, I mean, for me, I judge people on their character. And if I see somebody that has like problem skin, I'm not judging them. If anything, I want to help them and share my experience, which is why I'm sharing it with you guys. But regardless, it doesn't matter. And there's lots of other options besides Accutane. Accutane is kind of like the final step that you take in trying to fix your skin, because again, it is a really serious drug. So with that being said, just, you know yourself, you know your limits, don't push it too far. All right, so post Accutane, pretty much through my entire experience, I continued my normal routine that I had before. I will say I was using bio oil before that, and I kind of cut that out because I didn't really see too much of a need for it. It didn't really hydrate my skin like that. It was kind of just like, bio oil kind of is just supposed to like help you get rid of like dark marks and stuff. The Accutane was pretty much doing that already though, with my skin rejuvenation, my acne stopping. So I didn't really use that too much at all. I did continue to use my moisturizer. So this moisturizer is great. It's definitely lightweight. It has it's SPF 30, which is nice. It's not too oily at all. I feel like it does hydrate, and then eventually my skin kind of just like soaks it up. And I noticed too that I would have to put like several layers of this on when I was on Accutane, because again, my skin was dry. But I felt like this was definitely like the perfect product that I could have used during that time. And then I also used this on and off. My husband actually used these, and I remember when I first started to use it, I was like, what? Like, are you crazy? Believe it or not, but it's Olay brand, and it's these facial wipes. So they actually remove makeup. They have different kinds too. This one's sensitive skin. I'm actually using, I think it's like grapeseed or grapefruit, something like that. I'm using that one now. And then they have another one that has some type of fragrance in it, which I don't know if you guys are like, do get irritated by fragrances, then I wouldn't recommend that. Probably recommend this one. But yeah, it's like, says 5-in-1 makeup remover, scrub, toner, mask, and cleanser. So I mean, this thing is just great. It takes off all my makeup, mascara. Yeah, my skin doesn't feel dry after I use it either, which is nice, because I was using Cerave facial cleanser. I think it was the green one, which I did use that for the majority of my time during Accutane. And then once I got done, I started using these, and I just like these a lot, so I just continued to use them, and I ditched my Cerave. But yeah, so like I said, kind of went back and forth between the two, but I would definitely recommend these things. Another thing I did do is it sounds kind of crazy, but I did put Vaseline on my face at night, because again, my face was just so dry. So pretty much like I would put it on at night, and when I would wake up in the morning to go to work, like my skin would have just sucked it all up. So it's kind of up to you if you want to put something that's thicker on at night. I did apply it kind of like with my pores, not against it, if that makes sense. So kind of like, I'm a hairy ass woman, but like my hair, the hair that's on my face, like whatever way it grows is the way that I would put it on, if that makes sense. So I would put it down my nose, and then kind of like this-ish. But yeah, it's up to you guys if you want to try and use that or any of these products, but I did find that the Vaseline definitely helped because in the morning I could use this and I didn't have to apply as many layers. It's just what worked for me. You guys are more than welcome to try it. Let me know if it works the same for you. And yeah, I'm also gonna attach some pictures that I actually took earlier this morning. So that'll be 4 months post Accutane. Still pretty much experiencing really great skin. The only major breakout I really had definitely wasn't cystic at all. It was like normal pimples, but I ended up breaking out kind of like up here, which you can kind of still see the marks a little bit. But it was actually, I tried using this toner and my face did not like the toner at all. Which, another thing, anyways, this does have toner in it, so I don't know if it was maybe just too much going on with my skin. Maybe too much cleansing, like it's just drying it out. But yeah, so I pretty much just keep my routine simple. I got my wipes and I got my moisturizer. I am thinking of including some kind of mask in my routine to do every week or so. So if you guys have any recommendations, please hit the comments. So that's pretty much the end of this video. Just want to take the time to say thank you for watching again, and check the description box. I'm going to attach all the links to everything I included in this video there. What else? Oh yeah, I want to ask you guys how you feel about being called the Vixens or my Vixens, or you know, something like that. Hit that comment section for me and tell me what you guys think about that. And yeah, so have a happy holiday and I hope you guys stay blessed. Bye.